In September 2025, astronomers spotted a mysterious object that stunned everyone. This interstellar body is nearly 100 times larger and much brighter than Three-Eyed Atlas, and, most astonishingly, it's also heading directly toward the Sun. On September 12th, the SOHO spacecraft's SWAN instrument first detected it, and just 2 days later, Australian Comet expert Michael Matiasso captured a stunning image. Its tail is so vast that it spans 2.5 degrees, about as wide as 5 moons put together. Compared to it, Three-Eyed Atlas's thin tail seemed tiny. The International Astronomical Union named it C/2025 R2 Swan. The name itself caused a stir, first Three-Eyed Atlas, and now the even larger and stranger Swan R2. Now, the big question is, what is suddenly happening in our solar system? September 2025 was nothing short of a movie suspense for the world of astronomy. Suddenly, it felt as if the universe had decided to reveal a new secret to humanity. For years, scientists have been observing distant stars and planets, but this time, what emerged astonished everyone. Astronomers spotted a new interstellar object, so large and so bright that all previous records paled. Seeing it, people felt as if an unwanted guest had arrived in the sky. The reason was clear. This object was 100 times larger than the Three-Eyed Atlas, and its light was so bright that telescopes around the world were racing to catch it. Imagine the awe and curiosity that would arise in humans when they saw something for the first time, and it was heading directly toward the Sun. This is what happened in September 2025. This story began on September 12th, when a spacecraft named SOHO, which constantly monitors the Sun, caught its first glimpse of this object with its special instrument, SWAN. At the time, no one imagined the discovery would prove so significant. Initially, it was thought to be just another comet, but as the data began to emerge, scientists were astonished. 2 days later, on September 14th, Australia's renowned comet expert, Michael Matiasso, took his telescopic photographs. The moment became clear. This was no ordinary object. Its tail was so massive that it appeared to extend 2.5 degrees across the sky. To understand it, think of it this way. Even if 5 moons, the size of the moon you see at night, were put together, they wouldn't appear as large as this object's tail. This moment was astonishing for scientists. The tail of the Three-Eyed Atlas had always appeared small and fragile, but in comparison to this, it seemed absolutely dwarfed, as if a huge mountain had been placed next to a small rock. When the images reached research centers around the world, they caused a stir. People started talking about it on social media. Some were calling it a normal comet. Others believed it to be a guest from another planet. Not only this, the International Astronomical Union also quickly confirmed it and named it C/2025 R2 Swan. The name itself sent shockwaves through the entire scientific community. Everyone's attention was now focused on what this massive object was and what would happen to it once it reached the Sun. Is it just a comet? Or is there some other mystery hidden behind it? September 2025 presented astronomy with a question that no one has yet answered. Size and brightness. Comparison: when Swan R2 was compared to Three-Eyed Atlas, the difference was so stark that it felt like a small rock placed next to a giant mountain. Three-Eyed Atlas was already considered a mysterious interstellar object. But as soon as Swan R2 appeared, everyone realized the real game had begun. In terms of size, Swan R2 is nearly 100 times larger and much brighter than Three-Eyed Atlas. This means that while 3I Atlas appeared as a mysterious speck in telescopes, Swan R2 made its presence felt in the sky from afar. Scientists reported that Swan R2's tail itself is a unique marvel. Spanning 2.5 degrees, it's so wide that even if you lined up 5 full moons in the sky, they would still appear smaller. This is what amazed astronomers. Usually, a comet's tail is formed by melting ice and escaping gas. But the structure and shape of Swan R2's tail didn't quite match the usual pattern. It was not only large, but its light was steady and intense, as if it were emitting energy from an artificial source. In comparison, the tail of 3I Atlas appeared much lighter and thinner. Many scientists even joked that if 3I Atlas were considered a small boat, Swan R2 was like a huge ship that ruled the entire ocean. Swan R2's brightness also caused astronomers to ponder. Normally, a comet's brightness depends on its distance and the heat it receives from the sun, but Swan R2, despite its great distance from the sun, was radiating as if it had an internal source of energy. Some scientists even called it an unnatural brightness because its light was much more intense and concentrated than normal dust and gas. This sparked a debate among international astronomers. Is it truly just a comet or something more? Now let's talk about its naming. Every time a new celestial object is discovered, the International Astronomical Union (IAU) assigns it an official name. This time, as soon as the data was confirmed, the IAU announced it and named it C/2025 R2 Swan. The C indicates it's a comet. 2025 represents the year of its discovery, R2 represents its serial number, and Swan was added because it was first observed by SOHO's SWAN instrument. But the very mention of the name created a storm among scientists. The reason was that while it was named a comet, its movements and structure were completely unrelated. Astronomers from NASA, ESA, and several Australian observatories began to comment that perhaps we had been too quick to recognize it as a comet. Some called it a super comet, others a cosmic machine. Social media and news channels were abuzz. People began wondering if this object was alien technology. The discussion that began in the scientific world with the announcement of the name made this discovery even more significant. It was no longer just an astronomical event, but a mystery. As soon as the naming of Swan R2 became official, scientists realized that it would attract the attention of the entire world in the coming months. People began asking, if it was just a comet, why was it so unusual? And if it wasn't a comet, what was it? By September 2025, Swan R2 had shaken the entire astronomical world with its size, brightness, and name. Now, all eyes were focused on October, when it would pass closest to the sun. The question on everyone's mind was whether its mystery would deepen or be solved at that time. The danger of invisibility. When scientists studied the orbit and direction of Swan R2, the biggest shock came from this. Normally, if a comet or interstellar object enters our solar system, its direction and speed can be used to predict its origin and destination. But the stories of Swan R2 and 3I Atlas were completely different. 3I Atlas came from the constellation Sagittarius, which lies near the center of our Milky Way galaxy. Swan R2, on the other hand, was coming from the constellation Aquarius, which occupies a completely different position in the sky. In other words, the two have no direct connection to each other. Their paths are different. But the surprising thing was that even though they came from different directions, they were both approaching the sun at almost the same time. This coincidence was so unusual that scientists began calling it a cosmic coincidence. The universe is so vast that millions of objects pass through different spaces. But the fact that two large interstellar objects came so close to the Sun simultaneously in the same month was truly astonishing. Scientists like Avi Loeb said it seemed like a design, not just a coincidence, as if someone had deliberately arranged for them to appear to us at the same time. Now imagine, the two objects will approach the Sun so close that their paths will almost intersect. 3I Atlas's perihelion, closest point to the Sun, is approximately 203 million kilometers, while Swan R2 will come even closer, at approximately 150 million kilometers. These distances seem enormous, but on a cosmic scale, they are almost like passing together. Scientists were most concerned about the possibility of some interaction or exchange of energy between the two. And now we come to the part that has the entire scientific community even more worried: the simultaneous disappearance of these two objects. Yes, as soon as they reach their closest approach to the Sun in October 2025, they will become invisible from Earth. The reason is simple. Both will simultaneously disappear behind the Sun. When any telescope observes an object from Earth, the Sun's intense light proves to be its biggest enemy. When a comet or interstellar body passes behind the Sun's brightness is so intense that no instrument can see through it. The same situation will occur with Swan R2 and Atlas 3I. Both will disappear behind the Sun at the same time, and scientists will have no direct information about what happened to them for several days. This disappearance poses the greatest threat to scientists, as this will be the time when both objects will be at their most active. When a comet approaches the Sun, its activity increases. Gas and dust are ejected more rapidly. Its brightness may suddenly change, or sometimes the comet may even collapse completely. But this time, the situation is different, as scientists believe that Swan R2 and 3I Atlas are not ordinary comets. If they truly harbor a technological structure or energy source, their true form may be revealed only when they reach their closest approach to the Sun. But alas, this will be the moment when people on Earth and telescopes will be blinded. No one will know what happened behind the Sun, whether these two will return and be visible again or disappear forever. No one has the answer. This mystery is both the greatest fear and the greatest suspense. These astronomical events of September and October 2025 proved that the universe can still reveal secrets to us that we never imagined. Two strange objects appearing from different directions and then disappearing behind the Sun at the same time. Is this truly a cosmic coincidence, or is there a deeper story behind it? This question was about to become even more pressing. The mystery of 3I Atlas. When 3I Atlas was discovered, it was initially thought to be a normal comet. But as new information emerged about it, scientists' thinking began to change. Usually, comets are made of ice and dust, which melt and release gases as they approach the Sun. However, 3I Atlas's case was different. Spectroscopic scans revealed that its body was composed mostly of nickel and contained no iron at all. This is very strange, as such a metal combination is almost impossible in nature. This led scientists to think that it might not be a natural object, but some kind of machine or artificial structure. What was most surprising was its thrust pattern. Comet tails are usually formed by melting ice and have an uneven flow. But 3I Atlas's tail was emanating like the exhaust of an engine. The carbon dioxide in it was being released at a precise and steady pace, as if controlled by a machine. And as it approached the Sun, its tail suddenly changed color from red to green. Scientist Avi Loeb described this as thrust mix modulation. as if an engine changed its fuel mixture as heat increased. This pattern had never been seen in a natural comet. Even more surprising was its 10-gigawatt nuclear power source, said to be 50 times more powerful than the Chernobyl disaster. Clearly, 3I Atlas is a mystery that no one has been able to decipher to this day. But if 3I Atlas frightened everyone, Swan R2 stunned everyone. As soon as its study began, scientists discovered that it had a plasma shield around it. This was no ordinary layer, but a vibrant electromagnetic barrier, easily deflecting the sun's wind and radiation. This meant it was a protective shield far more powerful than any solid metal. Its tail is also a mystery. Swan R2's tail stretched across the sky, as wide as 5 full moons. Such a massive shape had never been seen before in any comet. And surprisingly, its brightness was constantly changing, as if someone was controlling it from within. When scientists studied its spectrum, they discovered tiny thrust pulses, as if a plasma engine was changing direction with precise precision. Its exhaust contained a combination of nickel, cobalt, and carbon, a characteristic unthinkable in typical comets. And most alarming, Swan R2's power core. While 3I Atlas had a 10-gigawatt nuclear reactor, Swan R2's core was releasing more than 10,000 gigawatts of energy. Avi Loeb said this power was equivalent to the collision of 2 black holes, and yet it was all contained within a single mechanical object. In his words, 3I Atlas was just a scout, but Swan R2 is a complete fortress. Discovery of the plasma core. When scientists studied Swan R2's power core, the results were astonishing. 3I Atlas had already shaken the world with its 10-gigawatt nuclear core, 50 times more powerful than the Chernobyl disaster. But Swan R2 was a different story. Its power level exceeded 10,000 gigawatts. To understand this, imagine this. If all the power plants on Earth were combined to generate that much energy, they would still be nowhere near it. Avi Loeb described it as a small-scale version of the energy released by the collision of 2 black holes. Seeing such tremendous power, scientists suspected it could not be a normal comet. They called Swan R2 a fortress. They had already considered the 3I Atlas a scout, like a small reconnaissance team sent earlier. But Swan R2's massive size, its plasma shield, and its plasma core all made it seem like a machine beyond the reach of human technology. The question arose, if it was indeed artificial, who built it? And why? Now let's turn to the opinions and debates of scientists. Avi Loeb and his team were the first to openly admit that both Swan R2 and 3I Atlas were not exhibiting activity typical of normal comets. Loeb stated that the thrust pattern of 3I Atlas and the plasma core of Swan R2 were evidence of a technological design behind them. He believed that 3I Atlas was a kind of drone or scout, while Swan R2 was the true fortress, that is, the main ship or large technological structure. But not everyone agreed with Loeb. Some scientists from NASA and ESA said that we may be exaggerating these events. They believed that both comets were unusual, but still natural. They stated that the universe is so vast that it could contain many metallic and strange combinations of objects we have never seen before. On the other hand, some astronomers believed that even if these were natural, such high energy levels and such a stable thrust pattern were inexplicable. Swan R2's plasma shield, in particular, was completely different from any cosmic observation before. Social media and media channels further fueled this debate. Some argued that this was definitely alien technology, while others argued that humans always jump to conclusions by labeling unknown objects alien. Ultimately, one thing was clear. Swan R2 and 3I Atlas divided the scientific community. One side believed they were created by another civilization, while the other said they were simply another unexplained trick of nature. But the truth will likely be revealed in October 2025, when both orbiters will reach their closest approach to the Sun, deepening their mystery. Conspiracy theories and mystery. As new information emerged about Swan R2 and 3I Atlas, people's doubts and questions grew stronger. Many began to formulate conspiracy theories. Some bluntly stated, "This isn't a normal comet, but alien technology." The reasons were 3I Atlas's strange thrust pattern, Swan R2's plasma shield, and their movement toward the Sun at almost the same time. It's as if some extraterrestrial civilization is sending them, and we're just observing them from afar. On the other hand, some believe this could be part of a larger cosmic pattern. Everything in the universe has its own timing and rhythm. Perhaps this too is part of a larger game that humans are yet to understand. But the real question now concerns October 2025. This will be the time when both objects will reach their closest approach to the Sun. Will they disintegrate at that time? Or will they emerge even brighter than before? Or will they emerge in a form that is beyond our imagination? Scientists don't yet have a definitive answer. All that is certain is that this moment will be recorded in the history of astronomy. Another fear is that when these two planets hide behind the Sun, it will be impossible to see them from Earth. This means that our eyes will be lost on them at the most crucial moment. When they reappear, will they remain the same as we saw them? Or will something have changed? This mystery is both the most exciting and the most frightening. Now the big question arises. Are these two truly just celestial bodies? Or is there some other purpose behind their arrival? Is it a coincidence that they are coming from different directions and approaching the Sun at the same time? Or is this a message from the universe that we cannot understand? So friends, this story leaves us where the greatest suspense begins. Perhaps we will find the answer in the coming months, perhaps not. But one thing is certain. The Swan R2 and 3I Atlas have shaken our minds. Now I want to ask you this question. Is all this just a coincidence? Or is the universe truly giving us some big clue? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to be a part of this journey to solve this mystery, subscribe to the channel. In future videos, we'll uncover even more mysteries you've likely never heard of before.